the initiative to promote your business. As a Black-owned small business, you don't want to miss this unique opportunity to gain new customers on KBLA Talk 1580. For more information, contact us today at smb@kbla1580.com. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
And if I share with you my story, would you share your shadow with me? Time to get it. Hey, Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wake up, Mr. West.
Talk 1580, continuing the conversation live from the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois. And I am running into some women I admire, women that I've done different kinds of projects with. And here, attorney Adia May is an entertainment attorney who, disclosure, has represented me and done a fabulous job. But you're also a Howard grad, and the HBCUs are rolling deep this convention.
Yes, ma'am. When we say rolling deep, it's deep. Howard, I've seen Norfolk State, Morehouse, Spelman, Hampton. We are ignited. We are on fire. We are so elated to see this, right? But as a Howard, a proud, HU, y'all know, as a proud Howard grad, I really, it's like watching the rise into the stratosphere of a great star, right? But we've seen it from, when Kamala was at Howard, she was president of the student association. She was on the debate team. This is not new. She's not new to it. She's true to it. But you're seeing the steps, right? And the work and also it's just time. So to see this is what a time to be alive.
And I know Attorney May, so she's not always of course she's always kind and sweet, but you're not always effusive. You're an attorney. You've sat at hard tables in tough rooms, and you're not, a naive person at all. So I love seeing this enthusiasm. Did it catch you by surprise, these developments?
Wow, absolutely. The swiftness of the it's like the opening happened and it just, and the wind is at her back. But I really thought they were going to pass her over. Like we get passed over.
I thought so too. I thought they were going to pull a fast one.
That's what I thought. And then when Joe Biden said gracefully, I stand down and I endorse Kamala D. Harris for President of the United States. Shocking, to say the least. But a mix of emotions, but my whole, it was like, is this happening? And then that Win with Black Women call that they were doing, I've been on those calls, and it was just 44,000 women celebrating just that moment. I thought about Shirley Chisholm and all the shoulders that we are standing on. It is quite amazing. It's miraculous. But when it's time, it's time.
Okay, so not only are you a Howard grad, you are an AKA.
I'm an AKA, member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I pledged at Howard University. Kamala also pledged at Howard University, and for the for non-Greek people who did not pledge, I am the same number as Kamala on different lines. So we have a little bit of a special connection there. So I had the privilege of volunteering for her campaigns because I live in Los Angeles when she ran for AG. And then when she had the runoff, I walked around at in Norwalk to help count ballots, make sure they were, running correctly and was at a number of her fundraisers. And whenever she would see me, how are you? Are you okay? That's what she wants to know. So when she's saying she's for the people, she cares about the people. She really does. And people are going to see more of who she is. And I'm just glad that it's kind of widening that, breaking that open for her, because she really does care.
The other thing that has surprised me, Attorney Adia, is the polling. The fact that it's not just us. I didn't go to an HBCU. My dad tried to get me to go to Howard, but I had a TV show. I wasn't trying to quit my TV show to go to Howard. And I didn't pledge because I had 2 jobs. But it seems like it's not just us, because these polling numbers they're saying it's still within the margin of error, but we're on the other side of the margin where she's up 4 points, up 3, 5 points. That has taken me by surprise. Well, how are you feeling about that?
Same. But you know what I think? I think she, and I think the party and the way this has happened before our eyes has done that, has helped do that, right? And then you have Republicans for Kamala now. You have, dogs and cat owners, or dogs and cats for Kamala, right? I mean, everybody has a group for her. The white women for Kamala, right? And so I think that momentum is catching on. It's like a spark. It's like, to me, I liken it to when President Obama ran in Chicago, right? And then he just, and the wind was at his back, and everyone came together, right? And then I think I like the joy, not like I feel the joy that she brings to this. It's something, right? It's like you can feel it, it's palpable. But I am concerned about, I saw a video Don Lemon on Instagram posted, I think the other day, somebody sent it to me, and he was on the streets of Chicago, and quite a few people were saying, I'm not really excited about her candidacy.
I saw that. It was, mostly Black men that he was talking to. Some were saying they were going to vote for Trump. By the way, we're also streaming on Instagram at DiPrima Radio if you want to see us. And I hear that a lot in the hip hop community. We've got to do the work of telling the story. People have a lot of misinformation. As an entertainment attorney, I know Hollywood can be one thing on the outside and another thing in the inner rooms and circles. How is this landing in Hollywood in the entertainment community, in your opinion?
In my opinion, we've got work to do. I think the misinformation, right? We've got to get the key points out about the campaign and what she stands for, right? And I think the entertainment community, as a matter of fact, we are pivotal, because the moving culture moves people, and we can have artists move people to get to the voting booth. But there is a lot of misinformation. We've got to be focused on how we are messaging and the surrogates, right, who are working, and even non-surrogates and people who are behind the scenes. We have to be active. And I think we've got to go to the other piece of this is the younger people, right? They watch the artists, right? And so we've got to get to them. They're, from what I can see, they're more energized with her getting in the race. But I think many of them are not really generally enthusiastic about voting. They're like, well, what's in it for me? What are they going to do for me? So I think we've got to also focus on them and getting them, make sure they're registered, and the college students, right? Those who have just gone to school, away to school. We're talking about making sure they have absentee ballots or registering in the state they're in. So there's a lot of work to be done there. But the artists have always been central to galvanizing people to the polls. So it's a lot that they can do and have to do to help her get, the Harris Walks campaign be successful.
Attorney Adia, before I let you go about your way, what something you can tell us about Vice President Kamala Harris that we might not know? You're in the same sorority, you graduated from the same college, and you've been volunteering with her campaigns for many years. What's something you could share?
So one thing I can share. We were on a call when she was running for Senate, and for some reason we were talking about music. It was about 20 people on the call, and we talked about her favorite artists and who she likes, and she loves Jay-Z. She is a Jay-Z fan, and she loves music in general. She loves music, but Jay-Z is one of her favorite artists. So
That's funny because it's been such a controversy. Oh, this is what I think. I don't know. I've seen her, a clip where she was showing off her jazz records coming out of the store. I think that when you're a candidate and someone, as Angela Rye asked her, who's your favorite living rapper? You have to think about, if I say Jay-Z, are they going to say, oh, so you're for pimping, very big, large size pimping? Like, so it's not just that you can really say, oh, I love, Kendrick or whatever. You have to go in your mind through their whole catalog. What if I say I like this artist, what will be used to take me down? I mean, Obama had his playlist, but not until after he was president.
She has a playlist too, but it's not going to be released until after. I think you're right, but she's a music aficionado, loves music.
Well, Attorney Adia May, it's great to see you, and thank you for stopping by and kicking it with KBLA Talk 1580 this morning.
My pleasure, Dominique. Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. And we are looking forward to Thursday night when the vice president will officially accept this nomination for the candidacy to be the next president of the United States. Looking forward to tonight when Tim Walz will take the stage. And looking forward to the parties, the panel discussions, the networking, and all the things that come with the Democratic National Convention, which is a massive undertaking. We'll continue our broadcast on KBLA Talk 1580 when we come forward in just a moment.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out.
Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Going down in a rinse change.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes 100% of odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text LION to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text LION to 42424. That's LION to 42424.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And I'm joined right now both on my Instagram at DiPrima Radio and, of course, live on the radio with our own Areva Martin. She's an attorney. She's a Harvard graduate, and you see her all the time on CNN. In fact, she's probably hitting there right now as we speak. Oh, my goodness. The Secretary of the State is walking up. I want to make sure maybe we should both interview her. What do you think about that?
I had an opportunity to spend some time with her. We were on the floor last night as we were doing our roll call. We were in the same row, she and our controller, Malia Cohen, our Congresswoman, Sidney Kamlager, and all of the elected officials, constitutional officers, Holly Mitchell, Hilda Solis. It was a jam-packed floor last night. And boy, was it exciting. Talk about a roll call. I got to give the national committee that planned this entire conference a tremendous amount of credit for planning a convention that the production quality of it has just been flawless. I mean, from start to finish, the number of speakers, the audio quality, the visuals, the videos, and then some of the special guests. Patti LaBelle coming out last night was just one of the biggest treats ever. Also Common, who is from the South Side of Chicago, joined the stage. And boy, talk about DJ Cassidy. Got to give him a tremendous shout out for keeping that party rolling on the floor. Probably the most innovative, the hippest, funnest roll call ever in the history of conventions.
Wow, that was great, Areva Martin. I can tell you're on the radio every day and on CNN, and we're freestyling this right now. I'm going to turn my little Instagram live because we have the controller for our state, Malia Cohen, who also happens to be a fellow Bay Area-ite, and I'm happy to have you on. And me and Areva, we're going to double team you right now, Ms. Cohen. How's the convention going for you?
The convention is electrifying. I know you guys are watching it on TV, but to be here, to be on the floor, to see the transition, to hear the live music, the musical performances, I mean, like, this is the spot.
And for you, are you a delegate?
I am. I'm a super delegate.
So what is a super delegate compared to a delegate? We hear the term, we don't necessarily know what it means.
Okay, I'm sure. So a delegate means that you're a member of the Democratic Party and that you have run and been elected by other Democrats to represent and to attend this convention. A super delegate is generally an elected official, such as myself, statewide elected, and you have an automatic status, if you will, in the party and on the party political scene.
I just found out yesterday that I think you're one of 11 Black women that is a statewide executive across the country. That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's a small number.
It is a small number. And I think it's actually smaller in terms of electeds. You have a few Black women that are elected that are representing the state of California, but you have 2 that are elected statewide, myself and Dr. Shirley Weber. Dr. Weber represents, she's the Secretary of State. And then we have a brother, Tony Thurman. We can't forget about him, who's the superintendent of public instruction.
For some people, you came out of nowhere. I mean, for some, yeah, it's always for some because we never just pop out. I mean, we pop out and show people, but that means we've been doing the work, right? Explain that process. Oh, you're not qualified. You came from out of nowhere. I get that as a broadcaster. I'm like, really? 30 years later.
I am your listeners are probably more familiar with those that are on the LA elected scene. I come out of San Francisco, so I'm from the northern part of the state. So many people in Southern California were unfamiliar with me. I served as a San Francisco supervisor for 8 years. I served on the State Board of Equalization for 4 years, and now as state controller. And you are right. There was a lot of misogyny, sexism, and I'd say even colored with some racism as to my qualifications. And so I'm proud to be here. I'm the California's 33rd elected state controller, but the first African-American woman to hold this position.
Well, congratulations. I know it's belated. You've had the job for a minute, but congratulations to you. And as one of our, rare statewide executives across the country as a Black woman, how is this moment for you? Black women lead, seeing Vice President Kamala Harris ascend, the speech last night from forever First Lady Michelle Obama. How is this impacting you personally?
This is impacted me personally. It's certainly has allowed me to be able to create a vision, a professional vision for myself and my career, that it can be done, that you are elected, that you are electable. If you remember when VP Harris ran for president 4 years ago, the question was, can she raise the money? Is she electable? Does she have the experience? So to be here 4 years later and having people falling over themselves to support her, it's incredible. It feels good. When I'm thinking about the Democratic Party and just being a Black woman, we already know, we talk about this all the time, being the backbone of the party, doing the work, rolling up our sleeves, registering people, organizing the churches, being at the beauty shop and the barber shop, all of that. And so this is our moment to step out from behind the scenes to the forefront. And this is a woman that I think many people can get behind. I mean, she connects with people. Those middle-class values are real. And I think that it's wonderful that we have this woman that has literally clawed her way up. They didn't just hand this to her. She worked for this.
Yeah, I mean, there's no Black woman anywhere that just had something. I mean, maybe, but not in elected office. And I'll tell you, not in broadcasting either.
Business heading up huge nonprofit organizations. I don't think anything is ever handed to us because we are always discounted. And we are also doing multiple things because we're raising children. We're taking care of our parents. We might be growing a business. I mean, there's so many hats that we are wearing that it's exhausting.
Yeah, I mean, you're a controller. So for you, the math has to be mathing at all times. And we are getting so much misinformation about what will help Black people close the wealth gap, what will help Black people just to do better and to thrive, economically. And so when you started hearing the ideas, not just the accomplishments, although those so far of the Biden-Harris administration, but Kamala Harris as a presidential candidate, the policies that she rolled out, what's your analysis of what you heard?
Well, in terms of the economic plan, it's slowly rolling out, right? We started to hear leading up to this week, different policy ideas and suggestions, not putting a tax on tips. I think that is a really very important. Increasing access to home ownership, i.e. through down payment assistance programs, closing the wage and the income gap, addressing childcare, the need for childcare, because and then I think the final policy initiative that she has been a champion on has to do with reproductive rights, being able to own your own body and choose when you start to build your family. You heard First Lady Obama talk about that last night as well, how these rights that have been repealed are critical. And the vice president will institute a national ban off of for reproductive rights, of an abortion ban, or repealing the abortion ban.
Right, to codify abortion into law. We've got attorney Areva Martin here, and I know she has a question for you as well. We're doing we're doing our big KBLA. She's one of our air personalities. We're doing our big KBLA DNC broadcast right now. Areva, I'm passing you the mic.
All right. Good morning, Miss Malia Cohen, Honorable Malia Cohen. I had the privilege of being on the floor with you last night, and I've had friends text me about last night, but I can't really even describe to them the energy that was on that floor. Can you talk about what it felt like to be there as Michelle Obama, the forever First Lady, followed by her husband, and just the lineup of speakers, so incredible. That energy. What was it like for you?
I think you and I were sitting next to each other, kikiing all night long. So excited, like sharing pictures, and I think I even looked over and I saw you teary eyed, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, like this is this is what we work for. This is why you were in journalism. This is why you went through law school and you practice. I mean, this is why I'm a policymaker, because we know that collectively we got to move forward. We got to make our mark. And one thing that I really appreciated from First Lady Michelle Obama was that she set the tone on all the women that came before us. When you think about Shirley Chisholm, Carol Moseley Braun, first African-American elected in the Senate, representing Illinois, was there in the audience for such a historic moment. I mean, this is something that we can't sleep on. And we have children. I have a daughter. I know you have a couple daughters, right? And so you got a son who's probably going to marry somebody's daughter, huh? But the point, maybe, I don't know. But we just have a moment, and it's a movement. This is not just going to end. I think that we will continue to inspire and galvanize more women, more Black women, to run for office, to open up business, to take leadership roles in their unions, and really begin to push an aggressive agenda forward.
Well, I thank you for stopping by. I know, Controller Cohen, I know you have a busy schedule and you got to keep it pushing. I want to say, because we have people that listen on our app in the Bay Area, that I know you're one of the, the HT kids, one of the home turf kids that came up with my show. So I'm so proud of you. You grew up from an HT kid to a state controller, and thank you for, thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you for being an HT kid.
Thank you. Thanks for doing the programming.
It never stops. The connections, the connectivity, and the web of competency, the web of good feeling. I think that joy that you talked about, I'm so glad we've pivoted from the end of the world to these people are weird. Now we don't have to be afraid of them. We just have to kick their butts at the ballot box. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone.
State Controller Malia Cohen. One to watch. I mean, I'm glad you're State Controller, but I know this is just the beginning. I know these things. Okay, I don't do really well without glasses. Okay, Miles, I got this. It's time for news, traffic, and sports, and we'll continue our conversation. Hopefully, Secretary of State Shirley Weber will be joining me. She's right behind me. That should be next on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Reports say more than 70 people have been arrested after protesters and police clashed at the Democratic National Convention being held in Chicago, Illinois. This after pro-Palestinian protesters walked into a large group of police officers last night as they rallied outside the Israeli consulate. The City Club of Cleveland, Ohio has announced plans to host an event featuring Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. The African-American justice is touring in support of her upcoming memoir, Lovely One. A federal judge is blocking a ban on non-compete agreements that was set to take effect next month. The Federal Trade Commission this year banned most non-compete agreements, which keep employees from leaving their jobs to work for a competitor. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Let Express Employment Professionals help you hire for contract or full-time jobs. Forget about posting jobs, sifting through resumes, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Go to expresspros.com to find the location near you. That's expresspros.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Jason Hayward hit a 3-1 pinch hit homer in the 8th inning Tuesday night to spark the Dodgers to a comfort behind win over Seattle. Hayward came off the bench to hit a grand slam at Colorado on June 19th. team. The Angels snapped a 3-game losing streak with a win at Kansas City. The Angels are tied with Oakland for last place in the AL West. The LA Sparks losing streak is now at 5 after Tuesday's loss at Connecticut. At 6-22, the Sparks are tied with the Washington Mystics for the worst record in the WNBA. Atlanta Falcons owner Arthur Blank is giving a $1.5 million grant to 4 HBCU schools to help them upgrade their football fields for games and practices. Clark Atlanta University, Albany State, Savannah State, and Miles College each will receive $1.5 million from Blank's foundation. The grants are part of the NFL's new HBCU field refurbishment program. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
All right, you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580. Dominique DiPrima here, and I am outside the California delegation breakfast. I'm streaming on my Instagram, which is DiPrima Radio, but I'm also on the actual radio, and I'm here with the assemblywoman who made such a big difference in California around our policing, around our reparations, around so many things before ascending to become the Secretary of State, another first ever. I feel like this morning I've been interviewing first ever Black woman Secretary of State in the state of California, Dr. Shirley Weber. Good morning.
Good morning, and it's great to be here with you. It's a wonderful convention.
It really is, isn't it?
Yes, there's a lot of energy, a lot of hope, a lot of optimism. People are really nice and hyped up about it. So, you don't always get that. And so everybody seems like they're ready to engage, ready to vote, ready to just move the world. And that's wonderful.
Describe the attitude or the swagger of Black women in this moment, right here, right now.
Black women have always had a swagger and a way about themselves that's always been special. We used to run a women's conference in San Diego, and I used to just love to sit in the lobby and watch us come. How we take charge, how we march, and whatever we have to do. And such is happening here. You see in the women, the way they're embracing this conference, they believe for once that we are a part of this. And it's interesting because, we compare ourselves to 60 years ago with Fannie Lou Hamer, where she was just fighting to get a couple of seats in this building and in the conference. And now you see that these women are here, young, old, all in between, realize that this is their party. This is their world as well as everybody anybody else, and we can run it, we can make the things happen. And so I see this in all the amazing, beautiful Black women that are walking around here, and I'm reading their titles. I'm so inspired. It's just amazing.
And speaking of titles, as a first ever, how do you handle that pressure, or do you even think about it?
You know, I really don't think that much about it because I've been in a pressured life for my whole life. You know, when you go to the university at the age of 23 and you become a professor and you're in charge of Black Studies program and all the battles that you fight, you know that what you're doing is going to make a difference, not just for you, but for generations to come. And so you're ever conscious of the fact that whatever we do, we have to make sure it's done correctly and decently, and it's done with the idea that it really factors into the system in a holistic way, and that we can actually be there, not for the moment, but forever. And so I've always lived with that idea that that I may be the first. I break a lot of ceilings, a lot of glass ceilings. I call them steel ceilings, really, not glass, because there's no way to look above it and find out what people are doing in the other room. And so you have to just use a can opener to get there, and then hope and pray that you got all your other tools with you to stay. But I've always believed that my task is not just to take a job, it is also to do the job, but make sure that I open the door for others who look like me, who act like me, who are poor, who may be African-American, maybe female, that they can see they can do it too. And we've done that in San Diego when I was elected the Assemblywoman, and I was the only one south of Los Angeles in all of California's history to be in the state assembly. And since then, you know, my daughter's now in my seat in the assembly. She's now running for the Senate. My former secretary is running for the assembly. So we're working on all that. We got a Black woman finally on the board of supervisors in San Diego. And we're just looking at it, and we're just working to say, you know, we are women who have always been there in charge of a whole lot of stuff that people didn't think we should be in charge of. And yet we have not been given or acquired what we need to have in terms of being in those positions to make a difference. We're there now. You know, many of us are there now, and we recognize the long journey that's been there. So it's just, you know, Black women are walking around this conference like they own Chicago, and that's a good thing, Chicago. Thank you very much, but we're doing it.
That is a good thing, Chicago. And I always say, is one of my little sayings, the sisterhood is real. The sisterhood is real. And what you've just described as far as you're not just your daughter, but your former secretary, and the way, and you see it here, even the way the Black women have coalesced around helping me get into spaces that Black media doesn't always get invited into, and making sure you're sitting here with me. And it's just, there is a real spirit of cooperation. I think it's important to talk about it because the opposite is promoted. You know, we're on reality shows slapping each other and worrying about whose man is whose man. But that's not at all what I see in politics, nor even in broadcasting.
No, not at all. In fact, my phone just blew up the other night when all these Black women saw me on TV. And then last night the same way. And so, and I'm getting this, and the stream of hallelujahs. This is awesome. We're here. You know, we know you, blah, blah, blah. And so those kinds of things are really important. And I see that now. And it's really so amazing how we can take this leadership role in so many ways. And there's so many women who interface in my life that help me, my staff that's here with me, who's taking her vacation to come and make sure I get where I'm supposed to be, and all the other kinds of things that we do to set up to make sure not only I get what I'm supposed to do, but also my staff works with a lot of the other Black women who may not have staff, but who have a reason to basically be put in certain places. So it is amazing to see the real diverse number of women who are doing things. We have teachers, we have lawyers, we have doctors, but we also have folks who are running businesses and in communications. It's beautiful to see the array of the positions that we worked ourselves into, and that we do such an excellent job in the process.
Dr. Shirley Weber, we know well the shenanigans that some folks are doing, claiming that elections are stolen, or that they're not fair, or that the votes aren't being counted right, whatever tall tales are being told. We know that voter corruption and voter fraud is very, very rare, but it's always put forward as if it's this big deal. Are you concerned, or should I say, how concerned are you about November 2024? Not really so much in terms of running the elections, which I know you, especially in California, you know how to do, but in terms of the confidence of the voter, in terms of the misinformation and disinformation, and the potential disenfranchisement of Black and low-income voters?
Well, we work very hard to try to deal with all the misinformation, disinformation, and we have websites on my website that basically can tell you the correct answer to the questions that they've been asked. We're asking people to use their registrar of voters to be able to get correct information about what's happening with the elections and the voting opportunities and the various things that they have access to. But it's real to the minds of individuals that no matter how hard we work to try to explain things to them, no matter how we sometimes bring them in and show them stuff that they can see. We tell them they can go observe counting of ballots and things like that in a safe and a distant place where they can look at it, they can see what people are doing. It's hard to do that. And when people have been in a situation where they just don't believe anything. And maybe because, COVID did some things to us, but locking us up and, putting us in places that and making us not interact with folks on a regular basis. And so we're slowly coming out of that COVID environment. And so it is really hard because some folks will forever believe that that it was unfair. And I think those who are the leaders of it know that it was fair, because even though they start the mantra of it's not fair, as soon as they win, then they don't continue. If this is a fraud, it should be across the board. Or if you lose, I tell people who ask me if they believe that so-and-so didn't win or whatever, I said, but do you believe that the fact that your voters that you have that elected your city council person that you like and your board of supervisor that you like, those people got elected. Now, is that a fraud as well? How do you pick those out of a ballot when a ballot is going through the machine to make one a fraud and one not? So we're slowly working to restore confidence and faith in people. And it takes a while to do it because when people feel bad and life turns kind of sour on them, they don't accept it. They still kind of believe the negative. Even when the economy is good, when we have low unemployment in Black communities, because Black communities have always had double-digit unemployment. Now we're at single-digit. That's a step up for us in terms of the economy, and yet people still don't believe it. I don't know what they believe. I say you go to work every day, you make money, you've been able to pay for everything you have, and they still don't believe it. So it's really it's almost a situation we have to continue to work on to make sure that we give people always the information and we keep them informed so that they can understand that this is an election that is correct, that it's not filled with fraud, and every lawsuit that has gone before the courts has basically validated that. But if you don't want to believe the courts, who do you want to believe?
Yeah. Are you concerned about these boards of electors, election officials being put in different, beyond California, in different states that could actually overturn election results or fail to certify them? Does that concern you in November?
The only reason why it doesn't concern me as much is because I believe our courts will uphold it. The thing that's been interesting is that even with the Supreme Court turning people kind of sour on some issues, when we look at what has happened at the courts is they validated a significant amount of stuff that has happened. And that's why I think at some point they also started attacking the courts, that this trial was rigged, this one or that one. And so it is it's something that I think in time, as this movement goes forward and other movements go forward in time, I think people will come to realize that this is not a fraud, that this is real, and they should participate in the process. But it's going to take a while because when you're fed negative information all day long, every day, constantly the negative, he's no good, she's no good, she's this, he's that, you have a tendency to develop a negative attitude. And I think one of the things of this convention is that it's almost like people are finally coming out of that haze of the disinformation, misinformation, that you're nobody, that you can't win, that the world is organized against you, and all those kinds of things. And people look around and say, wait a minute, this is a pretty good situation. We got some good people. We got some honest people. And but if you want to always believe that somebody's doing something wrong, that's what you believe, because that's what you see. But when you kind of wake up and realize there's some friendly people here, there's some nice folks here, and there's some people who want the world to be better, I think folks will finally wake up and realize that.
I don't know why it took me so long to connect the dots, Dr. Shirley Weber, but of course, from a Black Studies professor, Africana Studies professor, chair to assembly person, of course, it makes sense that you would be the one to step up and create the reparations task force. We do something every Friday on KBLA. We do Freedman Fridays where we talk about reparations and try to track these various bills and stuff. But you have set off a whole domino effect across the entire nation. Did you see that coming, and how does it feel?
I'm not sure if I saw it coming, but I knew it was necessary. And we saw what was happening with the stalling in DC around trying to get the federal government to do something. And I realized that California is a kind of very, very progressive state with a lot of good members, and we had a good governor. I just felt at that point we can actually do this. And somebody said, how long did it take you? How many years? I said, it took like 6 months to get the reparations bill done, passed, and signed by the governor. And I said, because it's this thing that we need to do. And of course, we immediately began to see other people doing the same thing, because they begin to realize we can handle this. You can take it a small bite at a time, but you can handle this big monster. And eventually the feds will have to realize they have to come along with what's going on because of the efforts that people are putting into trying to create reparations and the justice that comes with that reparations. And so, it was a journey. And I think I didn't really think real hard about it. I just knew it needed to be done. And I was kind of getting tired of what was happening and us doing resolutions to support HR 40, blah, 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 and never getting anything done. I said, oh, we're going to do this. And then California will lead the nation to do it at a national level.
And I know it's just the beginning, but how are you feeling about some of these bills?
I'm feeling good about it, because that's where it is. That's where the conversation occurs, you see, and it should be at that level rather than it's just everybody's level moving around in California. But I'm excited about it. Some bills are good, some are not as good as they could be, but we have to keep chipping at it, and there's a lot of more to come. And we didn't get in this situation overnight. 300 years in this country. We needed to do this and do it right. And so it's really important. I should say 400 years. I'm trying to cut off a year. 400 years of this reality that we've had, and being dejected and rejected, even when we've been excellent, is something that we really should do, and we had to do. And so California will lead, but so many other states, and New York is in there now, and other cities around the nation. And even in California, there are cities that now have reparation task force that are dealing with what can they do, because they created laws and regulations that limited Black people. So it's a movement that I think will grow, and it's about time. It's time for us to happen. And like I said, I just figured, I'm the type of person, if it needs to be done, I'm gonna put it out there, and you can fight me about it, but I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not gonna be afraid that it may not pass, which is some people thought, whatever, it doesn't pass, we'll do it again next year.
And that's why Black women lead. Secretary of State Dr. Shirley Weber, thank you so much for stopping by and talking with me.
Thank you. It's good to see you always. Good to see you in person. So wonderful. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Continuing our conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
History is being made. LA Civil Rights and the LA City Reparations Advisory Commission is about to unveil a groundbreaking reparations report. Come learn more about the impact of the Black experience in Los Angeles. Join us on Tuesday, August 27th, 5 p.m. at CSUN's Student Union for the official release and panel discussion. For more information, call 213-978-1845 or visit laisforeveryone.com. Again, laisforeveryone.com. Be part of this monumental moment.
Support comes from Getty, presenting Memnon, a world premiere theatrical event under the stars. Memnon tells the tale of a powerful Ethiopian king who fights alongside Troy during the city's darkest hour. This epic Greek myth has been overlooked for over a millennium. Until now. Memnon is co-produced by the Classical Theater of Harlem. Thursdays through Saturdays this September at the Getty Villa Museum. Tickets are available now at getty.edu. For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it. Together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake. and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at zquill.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll Charmin ultra strong when you drop in the beat. It cleans with way less effort on your seat. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Yeah, roll it, drop it. Okay. Charmin flows extra strong from the road. Your butt hella clean while you're sitting on the bowl. Yeah, it's all you need for that bathroom groove. Get you in and out without nothing to prove.
Charmin Ultra Strong cleans better so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
We're broadcasting live. The breakfast is over, but Senator Steve Bradford, California Senator Steve Bradford, has been kind enough to close out the show with me today. And what a handoff. I feel like, this is like Jordan to Kobe, from Dr. Shirley Weber to Senator Steve Bradford. Hey, if the basketball game is reparations, that's a real analogy. Great to see you, Senator Bradford.
Good to see you. Always a good time.
You said your fifth DNC. Why do you come to these things? What is it all about in your opinion?
I mean, it's about setting a platform for who we are as Democrats and what we expect as a nation and from our national leaders. So I'm honored to be involved. And my first national convention was in 1992 when Bill Clinton went over. So, and was part of a young Democrat movement back then too. So we're excited. It's important, and we need to let our voices be heard.
It's funny you say you start off with a platform, because one of the complaints I constantly hear is, why don't Democrats have reparations on the platform? And I keep saying, well, if Kamala Harris threw her fist in the air and said reparations now, you would feel good, but she probably wouldn't be president.
It's very much so. I mean, we don't have to lead with everything, with our passion. Just make sure that you have your voices heard to let them know where our priorities are. But that doesn't have to be the flag that, that you carry to, for national office right now, but be supportive of it. And she has been supportive of it.
She's been openly supportive of it, probably more so than many lawmakers, right?
Without a doubt. So people shouldn't criticize her if she says that's the number one priority, because in many ways, it shouldn't be the number one priority. It should be one of many priorities that we want for this nation. And, it's a long list of things that need to get done.
Tonight is, we'll hear from Tim Walz, who is the vice presidential nominee of the Democratic Party. What are you expecting? What are you looking for? Or what are your thoughts about Mr. Walz?
I really don't know him, but I know he comes with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and I think he's going to be great for the job. So I want to learn just like most of the rest of the country. I want to know who this guy is, but what I've seen so far, I like, and I think he's a great addition to the team, and I look forward to hearing him today and supporting him over the next 80 so days.
You've come to 5 of these. I know you had to do a lot of business in the state, so you couldn't be here every single day. But how would you compare what you've seen so far this year to past DNCs?
For the short period I've been here, great enthusiasm. And I probably haven't seen this much since 2008 when Barack Obama went over in Denver. So great enthusiasm, just hyped energy. And I think it's to her advantage right now that we have just an 80-day window. I think we can build upon that, because a 9-month to a year campaign, people, they get burnt out. but I think we have enough energy to go on and carry this thing to the finish line. And people here are totally excited. And I haven't seen this kind of enthusiasm, like I say, probably since 2008.
I feel like California is definitely having a moment. Women are having a moment. California is having a moment. We saw Mayor Karen Bass on the stage. Of course, looking forward to seeing VP Kamala Harris. The delegation from California seems very strong. What do you think that means for our state, but also for the nation?
Well, they often say, so goes California, so goes the nation. I think we've shown great leadership in tech and education and the environment. I mean, we are the North Star in many cases and on many issues. So I think it shows the impact that California has on this nation and on the world. We're the fourth leading economy in the world. So I think people should want to hear from California and in many ways emulate that what we do. So we're a fine example of what we can be as a nation.
And we're not weird. No, so
not at all. Not at all. Nothing weird about being innovative, being creative, thinking outside the box. And that's what we do in California.
You've known Vice President Kamala Harris for a long time. You know the party and this moment in the nation. What do you think she has to do tomorrow night, if anything, when she accepts the nomination on the stage in the United Center?
Just be her authentic self. It's what we have to do to make sure we get her across the finish line. She is deserving of this opportunity. She's prepared. She's ready. And so we just got to stand behind her and push her across and make sure that all our people not only register, but get out to vote and do what we need to do to even convert some of the naysayers, because she's qualified and she's ready, and I'm excited about it. So that's what we need to do. So I expect to hear just who she is, her authentic self. She's going to deliver that tomorrow night.
Got a minute here. I know you're running for lieutenant governor, and we talked about, raising awareness, raising funds. How can people connect with your campaign to be lieutenant governor?
Steve Bradford for California. You can go to our website. We're building right now, and it's a slow process. We have about another 18 months before we get full throttle, but we're in the process of just raising the money now and making people aware and sitting down with our respective leaders all across the state and let them know, introducing them to who Steve Bradford is and telling them my story as well.
Senator Steve Bradford, thank you so much for stopping by and talking with me this morning.
Thank you, Dominic. Always appreciate it.
Tavis Smiley is over in the United Center. He's over there broadcasting. So we're going to pretend we're tossing to him right now. I want to quote my dad, the late and amazing Dominique Baraka, in the context of this election. He said, "A man is either free or he is not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom." I'm Dominique DiPrima. I'm sitting here in Chicago, Illinois, and we are making history at the Democratic National Convention. Tavis Smiley is up next, and I will be with you